Um, just in some. It's not research. I'm asking AI a bunch of stuff. It is research, but it's really broad research. I'm just asking questions so I could figure out some topics and kind of narrow it down from there. Get on it myself. Oops. Oh, sorry about that. I bumped the microphone. It's probably broke now. Oh, I didn't even check if I'm making sounds. I gotta check that. Very cheap and old microphone. That's about it. Very cheap and old microphone. Yeah, I'm hearing that static. Shit. All right, I jiggled it again on purpose. Checking. I think the static went away. Checking. I forgot to talk to do the check. Check, check, check. I'm listening to it through my headphones. All right. Whatever. No one cares. No one's listening. Okay. So, check this out. I doing some research. The start of some research. So the 97. So there's a Reddit post that AI keeps referencing, and everybody's really referencing it. That everybody that's the two people in the world, me and the Reddit guy, are referencing his work. I don't know if it's true or not, but instead, the 97 plus percent figure is derived calculation based on the share counts and lockup terms disclosed in the filing. Here's the exact breakdown. So, I've been going through the S4, doing all the things, looking at all the stuff. I got a bunch of screenshots today to share, but I went ahead and asked AI. So the 97% isn't in there, but I found some other cool things. And then I went down a rabbit hole, but I understand a bunch of more things now. A bunch of more things. All right. So the specific numbers used to calculate. So what? Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. I've been researching for about a half hour now, and then I forgot I didn't go live. Um. So what the Reddit post guy says is that 97% of the shares of Evernorth are locked up from 6 to 12 months, not available for public. The people that own them, SBI, some other people I can't remember at this moment, um, they cannot sell them for at least 6 to 12 months, somewhere in there. And I think there's a ladder out process. So that leaves only 3% for everybody else in the world. And that's including hedge funds, uh, pension funds, 401k funds, all the banks in the world. Everybody has to fight over this 3%, which then that leads to an institutional premium. And it's just a lot of things. A lot of things. This makes a lot of things snowball. And it's not in the S4 filings proper. So I'm going to stop my search of it because that was hurting my eyes. So what the Reddit guy did, and I forgot his name, but sorry about that, buddy. He did some calculations, derived calculations, and he figured out 97% of the shares are held up. And AI broke it down for me to help me understand his research better. And then we'll get into my research, what the rabbit holes I'm going down. But if this is true, or even close to true, like 90, 80%, a significant portion of the shares locked up for at least 6 months, that's insane. Like insanely good for people that hold this asset. So the specific numbers used to calculate this percentage were found in the S4A number 2 filing in the Associated H. Oh, I didn't even look at Form AK yet. I'll probably need to do that. We expect to visit SEC website. So total outstanding shares. The filing projects approximately 150 million outstanding shares post merger. So that's what I was researching because I get 64 million shares, and that's before it's fully diluted without the warrants or without the warrants being exercised. So okay, that I wanted to jump into my research because that's the best segue. But let's keep going to figure out what he was saying. The Reddit guy. I should get his name because I talk about him a bunch. Lock shares. The filing details that shares held by Ripple, it's Ripple, SBI, Arlington Capital, Arlington, and other pre-merger institutional investors. And that's the pre-merger between Pubco and oh come on, I know their name. Acquisitions Corp 2. Now I got Arlington in my head. Armada Acquisition Corp 2. They merged and now they're a SPAC. And there's going to be another or a de-SPACing, I guess, not a merger, but it's going to be a merger, the completion of the merger. So these guys are all holding Evernorth Holdings right now, which is XRPN is the ticker, and that's a lot of shares locked up. Lockup terms, according to Form 425 investor presentation, Exhibit 10.2 form lockup agreement within the 8K S4 references, Ripple and the SPAC sponsor, I think that's Pubco or SBI, I can't remember. It's defined, I can't remember. Are subject to 180-day, 6-month lockup, while other strategic investors often have. Okay, so it's not a laddered, but it's laddered in the sense that it's certain people get unlocked at certain times. But like, I guess yeah, you could sell to become liquid to go buy properties, but like this is the asset. What would you would sell into fiat to become liquid into fiat? And so I don't think they'd sell significant portions of their stock even after lockup because there's nothing good to sell into. I mean, for reasons I believe myself, this is it. Not financial advice. So it's 6 to 12 months. The sponsor, I'll have to look up who the sponsor is. I just can't remember. Might be SBI. How the 97% is calculated. And again, we're just going over somebody else's work. A guy on Reddit posted this, how he gets his figures of a 3% active flow is what the whole world has to hungry hippo over. The 97% figure cited in community analysts, okay, such as the Reddit thread from May 2026. Oh, dang, it was recent. I thought it was, in the past, but it hasn't been around, whatever. Is derived by comparing the public float against the total shares. Public float. Only the shares available for immediate trading by the general public, typically the SPACs, public shareholders who do not redeem, plus any new shares issued in the pipe that are not locked through most pipe shares. Oh, though most pipe shares in this deal were locked. Pipe. You got to define your word. Public. Maybe they defined it and I didn't see it. Insider strategic holdings. The vast majority of the 150 million shares, which it's not 150 million yet, it's 64 million. 150 million number, which I'll go into, is assuming it's 140 to 170 million, assuming all the warrants are exercised. So that's another part of my research. So this is all touching all the questions I have, which is good. Shares are allocated to the strategic contributors, Ripple, SBI, etc., etc. Anybody know that reference? Etc. Split. It's a M Night Shyamalan movie. Split. Really good movie. Who are legally bound up by the lockup agreements. Calculation: if 145.5 million shares are locked and only 45 million are freely tradable, the lockup is 97%. Okay, cool. So I understand where he got his numbers, but I disagree a little bit with them. But they're not wrong. They're just we don't know how many warrants are going to get exercised or how many warrants are going to get sold. I don't know if we know how many warrants get traded and stuff. I don't know if we know how many warrants exist, the total number of warrants. I might have to ask that question in a minute. But we'll have to go to my some of the screenshots I got and see if we could get some cool numbers. So right now, there's 23 million shares. This is before warrants are exercised. He has 4.5 million. Okay, maybe I just don't understand his numbers. And I didn't do a deep dive in his research to like double check his numbers and stuff. And I'm glad he's doing research. Like I'm not dogging him at all. I'm just trying to get caught up and I'm getting different numbers, so I'm trying to figure out what the discrepancy is. And I think it's the warrants being exercised. I guess that's what I'm trying to say in the most simple way. That took me a long time to say. Maximum redemption means it's, and I got a chart to prove this, or 23 million of the public shares are redeemed. This is about redemption and selling because there's going to be a vote coming up. You could just take your money or hold your shares in the vote when they merge. So they got 23 million here, and I think that's because it's pre boop bop. What I said earlier, pre. I got to do this behind the scenes. Let's just open up a bunch of shit. Boop boop boop. Should have had this done. My sorry. All right, there you go. Get out of my face. Let's see here. Boop. I wish you could combine it into tabs. You probably can. Boop. Boop. Is that good enough? It is not. Move everything over. Should have did this before I went live. And should have did it better than this. Everything's fine. All right. So he's getting 97% locked up for at least 6 months post merger when XRPN goes live, Evernorth goes live. 97% locked up for at least 6 months. And then it's like SBI and Ripple after the 6 months, like you think they're going to dump their shares on the market? Evernorth is the vacuum. It is the water tower that creates the pressure. And the pressure is the collateral. So if Ripple and SBI, after the 6 months, start selling their shares, that's like poking holes in the water tower. The pressure goes down. You have less collateral. So I'm comfortable saying they won't sell. They'll lend them out. They might put them to work doing in some kind of DeFi. I don't know about that. But I'm 100% sure they won't sell. So the exact citation location. To verify the components of this calculation, you must look at capitalization. I didn't find that yet. It's not in the I might be in the wrong S4. I said S4 number 2, so I might be in the wrong one. But I didn't see any capitalization. And I went through like a third of this already. It's like 1,000 pages long. And I don't know how to do like search for keywords like you would a PDF. Oop, don't look at that. This table lists the exact number of shares held by each major entity. Oh, versus public float. I actually need that. Well, I got something like that. Boop, bop, beep. I clipped out the exhibit number. I don't know what it is. But see, I had to go look up Pubco. Pubco merged with Armada Acquisitions Corp. 2, Core 2, to become, which will become Evernorth Holdings, which is a SPAC right now, but its ticker is still XRPN. But it'll be called Evernorth Holdings upon the completion of the business combination. So they have a total of 65 million shares. And this is pre warrants. All right. So that's cool. So I was like, well, I don't want the shares diluted up to that 50 to 100. Well, hold on. Let me go back. Section legally binds. Okay. That's a slide deck. I didn't even see that. Form 425. Visualize supply shock by showing a small percentage of the float relative to the total market. Okay. I got my SEC still up. No. Form 425 Evernorth. Wait. Gotta type in XRPN right now. Oh, go back, you jerk. All right, Form 425. 425. Let's go. Said it's a slideshow. Where's the pictures? It's not a pictures. Ooh, this is Form a don't like you. Or I don't know. Oh, wait. When can we get pursuant to Rule 425 under securities? Don't like rules. 425. 425. Probably looking in the wrong place. I'm new at all this. This one A. Investor presentation. Oh, that's probably they had to have filed that. They filed that investor presentation. Let's look over here. Correspondence. Check. That's just talking. That's just talk. Oh, it's still Armada acquisition. Okay. Investor presentation. Are these all the kind of the same? This is the agreement, which is all important stuff, but I don't have time to do it right now. I need investor presentation slideshow. They don't have it. Fine. It's there. I just can't find it, or it's not there and it's on a website somewhere else. Oh, slide decks attached to the filing often visualizes supply shock. What? They often do that? So it doesn't say it does that. Okay, fine. His numbers are 97 and 3 based on 150 million total shares, fully diluted, warrants, all warrants exercised. I'm over here with 65 million shares, not including warrants. I was like, oh, then I don't want the warrants exercised. There's a way to do it. You got to stay under $18. between 11.50 and $18. All right. So if for no delusion, keep it at the 64 million or 65.4 to keep, because what we want is XRP density, and that'll down the road, it'll XRP density will increase due to the yield generation engine with T54 and Flare and a lot borrow lend and a lot of other things that'll maximize the yield engine. So that'll increase density, but we want to keep the shares low as possible. So we got to keep XRPN trading between $10 and 11.49. Ensure the price never hits 18 for 20 days to avoid the forced conversion. Rely on holders, so that's external. So it's tough. I'm trying to get like an exact roadmap of how to get the warrants gone so we have as little dilution as possible. So, and this is the first time I've ever researched anything like this to get rid of warrants. So, I know a lot of this is standard boilerplate, and a lot of people already know the answers. Maybe throw it in the chat, save me some time, or throw a video up, and then I'll watch your video. I couldn't find any videos on this. The absolute requirement for zero dilution is keeping the stock price below 11.50. The warrant XRPNW gives the holder the right to buy a share for 11.50 if the stock trades at 11.40. Exercising the warrant results in an immediate loss of 10%. No rational investor will do this. Outcome: as long as XRPN trades below 11.50, the 11.5 million public warrant. Well, see, 11.5. Oh, that's the public warrants. But still, we're at like 100 million shares added. Like more than 100% of the shares are warrants. I don't get where all these extra shares come from. But I guess it's all, there's way more warrants than there are actual shares. That might be a thing. Even if the price stays below 11.50, the company must avoid a scenario where the price spikes above $18. Clause. The S4 allows Evernorth to force a redemption if the stock closes above $18 for 20 out of 30 days. See, that's a scenario I would like. It would still cause dilution. We'd go from 64 to anywhere from 140 to 170. I guess that's the numbers I'm seeing. Shares, so we would dilute for sure. But then all the warrants are gone. But then I don't. The only reason I want the warrants are gone is before they exercise them. So after they exercise them, I don't care what they do. But you could force them to sell, exercise the warrants, or you could just outlast them till May 21st, 2030, and then they're invalid. So we could stay at a really low price for 4 more years, and then all the warrants are invalid, which I don't want that. I think Evernorth will close this year. I'm just trying to figure out what they're waiting on. And it keeps going. So that was my opinion on that. Like, seems like there could be some ways to get around warrants, but kind of not. Like, let's see, what was I just? Oh, I was going to ask a new question. Dilution. It was about diluting. Yeah, May 21st, 2030. That'll expire. 17 million. See, they're saying 17.5 million. So I think there's only 17.5 million warrants. That puts us at like 80 million shares. So we're still like almost like 90 million shares short of the estimates of. Get 64 million shares, and there are other numbers of 150 million shares. I asked her this earlier, and that's or her. Ooh, I just called AI a her. Uh oh. Uh oh. There's a movie called Her. So they're still giving me the numbers I agree with. The 23 million public shares. That's what everyone has to fight for. And so that's fully diluted capitalization table. It assumes that every possible warrant and option. Oh, I didn't even look up options yet. Okay, so yeah, there's only about 17 point whatever, 18 point something million. Wait, options to buy shares. Ooh, I don't know the difference between warrants and options. I got alert. I got alert to that. Additional contingent shares. Potential shares issued if specific price targets or earnout milestones are met. Oh, if it does good, you get promised dilution. Yeah. Potential warrants and options. So there's the numbers. Why the confusion? I'm confused. They're not confused. You currently own a piece of the 64 million share pool. The warrants are not shares yet. They are just contracts that could become shares in the future if the price rises above 11.50 and holders choose to exercise them. I don't like warrants. Projection. Analysts using the 150 million figure are modeling a worst case dilution scenario where every single warrant is exercised. This results in a lower theoretical XRP density, but does not reflect the current reality. Until the warrant holders actually pay the 11.50 strike price to convert their warrants to 64 million. The 64 million share count is the accurate number for calculating your current ownership stake and exposure. Okay. So the 150 million is the worst case scenario. Maximum dilution. That's interesting. I kind of accept that. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I got a bathroom. I got a bio. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Worst case scenario. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. The 150 million is maximum dilution. So I would say like entities like SBI or Ripple would buy a bunch of these warrants back and hold them till just before May 21st, 2030. And then instead of issuing more shares, they would strike or exercise the warrants, which is issuing more shares, but something like that. Okay, that's a plan. That's a plan. And it would get the shares, the warrants off the market for now in safe hands. Okay. There are some possible kind of strategies to deal with the warrants to keep dilution down. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. And 150 million is worst case scenario, and then you're at 6.7 XRP per share of Evernorth at the moment before the yield engine kicks on. So that's something. I learned a little bit, I guess. So 64 million shares is the real accurate number of shares we have right now before the business combination closes. But 150 million shares is the worst case scenario if all warrants and options are exercised. Okay. So right now, there's only 23 million shares available to retail and anything. And I did some question asking, which is called research. I did some research, and some entities like pension fund 401ks, banks, and all of those drips and drabs, they can buy SPACs right now. So there's 23 million shares right now, but maybe they're buying the warrants later. Okay, wait, I gotta think for a second. Because you buy the warrants and then you're gonna need a lot of money later. How much are warrants? Are they less than the 1050? I don't know. I do gotta ask that. Oh no, I know they're cheaper. I think they're like $5. Oh, they're 85 cents for a warrant. So you could possibly make, around $10 a warrant, a little under $10. Let's say it goes the SPAC, the XRPN before it comes Evernorth becomes Evernorth Holding before the business combination closes. Let's say we jump up to about $15 instead of exercising, because that'd be like $14 of profit per warrant. So you got a million of them. That's $14 million right there. So let's say they trade the warrants instead of exercising them, because that would cost them more money. And then Evernorth uses T54, their AI agent army, to hoover up all the warrants. Oh, wait. I don't know. Okay, yeah, I'm in over my head on this. I'm trying to strategize about something I know nothing about, which is fine. All right, you're out of here. What's next? Okay, so we did this as well. 23 million is the public float, the real accurate public float. While it's Armada Acquisitions Corp 2, and excluding all warrants and options, the public float is 23 million, 23.3. But that's how much shares the entire world is fighting over right now. That's crazy low. That's crazy low. So whatever. Okay. So, well, wait. 65.23. Okay. Um, should be under 30. Okay. Oh, get wrecked. 3 divided by 65. So it's 35% of the total. I just closed that one out too. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, where are my pictures? Shoot. Screenshots, no. Downloads, no. Documents, no. Where the heck did I just have it? Placeholders, no, no. Screenshots, videos, music, pictures is where I want it to be. Documents. This week. Ah, gallery. Yes, gallery. Gallery is different from pictures. Good lord. Just give me some dang pictures. Put it all in one file. Everything's getting weird. Okay. So what did I want? Yes. Total shares is 65 million. Public float is 23 million. And I rounded down zero point 0.4, zero point 0.3, whatever, gone. That's 35%. So that's 70% locked up, give or take, 65%. And that's class A. I don't think I have the class A. I think I have the common. Or I think retail has the common. See, none, none. Or is this class A? I get voting rights. I think it is class A. What is this? Oh, max redemption. This is if everybody redeems. And sell like you sell it for the $10.50 or whatever, 40 cents. This is if nobody sells, which people will sell, which is actually good for everybody who doesn't sell. So 23 minutes. So it's 35%. So he has nine. The Reddit guy has 97% locked up, and that's after warrants and options and maximum dilution. Everyone exercises their warrants. It gets maximum dilution. It goes up to 150 shares. He's still using this 23 number. That's not even 97%. I don't know how he got his calculations or his numbers. I went through his calculations. Does not appear. Total is 150 million outstanding shares post merger. outstanding shares. Is that share? That's shares that aren't purchased. What does outstanding mean? It's derived from comparing the public float to total shares. So where did he get his public float number? It's not from the S4. 4.5 million. Let's look for 4.5 million. Where did he get that number? 4.6 contributor. That's what they own. And then public shares is 23 million. I have to figure out where he got that 4.5 million float, public float from. I'm not getting that. Let's ask. Where this? I gotta find that capitalization. I can't find that. Originally raised funds to an IPO of 23 million units, which is exactly the public shareholder. In SPAC mergers, public shareholders have the right to redeem their shares for cash when the merger closes if they do not approve the deal or wish to exit. The original IPO was 23 million units. Okay. I don't think that's right. And it's the exact number of public shares. That's weird. Coincidence, maybe. Whatever. I'm still new at this. It's a non-redeemed share. Or non-redeemed shares remaining in the trust. It is standard for SPACs targeting crypto assets to experience high redemption rates. The 75% because retail investors frequently prefer cash over. Oh, they're still in the speculative phase. So many of these shares, even the 23 million shares in the public, many of those are going to be redeemed once the vote goes to close. Those will be redeemed and go back to Evernorth itself. What will they do? Probably won't destroy them. I don't know. But 70 to 80% of that, of the public, that's a bad idea. 70 to 85% of people have a bad idea. If approximately 80 to 85% of the original 24, okay, many shareholders redeem their shares, only 3.5 to 4.6 shares would remain. That's how he got his number. That's how we got his number. I don't blame him. I do max of max extreme bull cases. I'm running the numbers, tons of commas and zeros in some of my analysis just to get like an upper limit. Blah blah blah. So I can see what he's doing. I think I see his thought patterns now. He's doing an extreme case, extreme dilution, extreme number of shares. What do they call it? Sold back, but what do they call it? Redeemed. Extreme numbers of share redeemed, and the upper 85% of the public float, they just want out. They're scared. It's volatile. They're going to go buy themselves some gold and some Bitcoin, and just have a happy life. Good for you. Go do that. So he's assuming maximum dilution with 150 million shares. He's assuming 85% of the public who bought Evernorth are going to redeem it back for the cash and go invest it somewhere else, which is their prerogative. And so he's doing like a maximum case, not a maximum bull case, but like all numbers turned up to their highest, all ranges maxed out. Okay, I get this. I get it. I get it. So then technically, I agree with this Reddit poster guy. I agree. So far, I agree with him. I know where he's getting his numbers from. I checked them. I'm agreeing with his numbers. So far, so good. I think this will actually change because people are. What did Cypress Hill say? People learning about what they smoking. Uh, People are starting to learn what they're holding. So I think that number will tend towards the lower of the range, if not outside of that range. But fine, we're going to use. I'm okay with these numbers for now, just to get a baseline, an upper end baseline. This is the high end of our range to understand what's going on. So that's how he got his 97% lockup. So let me do a lower end range. Shares. Okay. Okay. Figure corresponds to a scenario where roughly 18.5 million shares are redeemed, leaving only 14.4.5 million public shares and are not subject to insider. Interesting. This is way interesting. Nobody believes me. Two people believe me, it looks like. So this 150 million shares, total post merger shares, all warrants, all options exercised. Worst case scenario, maximum dilution, 150 million shares. And he's also assuming that 80 to 85 retail holders, they got paper hands, got the cold feet, pissed themselves, and redeem their shares. So like, no, I'm out of here. I need some Bitcoin and some paper silver, please. I need my 300 to 1 oversold, over leveraged paper silver, please. Craziness. So that gives them 4.5 million there, and then you do your calculation, you're at 3% float. So let's say I'm comfortable because that's a maximum range. Everything's turned up to 11 in his calculations, which is fine. So I'm going to say people learn about what they smoking. 70. This is my first rodeo, but I still think 70% people redeeming their Evernorth. Still think that's high. But public just to get it off, like if it's a corporation or some kind of VC, venture capital, they just want it off their balance sheet. Okay. And I don't want to make an arbitrary number up. Like I'm comfortable with saying 80 to 97% lockup, 80% to 97%. But I just made that number up. It's just, this is the high range, everything turned up to 11. And I just made an arbitrary number down to 80%, which isn't a good thing to do. But I can't make any guesses on. So this is typical. It's standard to have high redemption rates. Are VCs considered retail? They're not as there could be institutional. I don't know. But I tend to think in this case, with this specific asset, the redemption rates are going to be lower. But that's just a feeling. Wow, that was interesting. I know where his numbers come from now. He did take the 23 million public shares, and then he took where it's standard high redemption rate for SPACs in crypto, crypto SPACs. Most of the people that bought in will sell off. They don't understand what they hold. They don't know what they smoking. So then that gave so he did 85% of this goes back. That gave him his 4.6 million. Cool. I'm following his logic. Oh yeah, that's my how to not the remaining 41 million shares are held by insider sponsors and strategic partners and are subject to lockup agreements. These restricted shares cannot be sold immediately, which creates a supply scarcity for the public shares. Consequently, while there are 64 million total shares of Evernorth in existence, only 23 million shares are currently available for public purchase. The whole world is hungry, hungry hippoing these 23 million shares, meaning your trade interactions exclusively with this smaller subset. Meaning your trade interacts exclusively with this smaller subset of the total equity. And of those 23, typically 70 to 85% get redeemed back for the cash. So they could reallocate it in paper gold or bitcoins, digital memorabilia. Okay. So yeah, the Reddit guy, man, I'm picking up what he's putting down. I'm digging it. It's an extreme. Every number amped up to 11. We're at the extreme top of the range when he says 97.3. I mean, you could go 85.15 between 85. I'm just going to try to make up a lower end of the range, 85 to 97, somewhere around 80%, somewhere. If not, because 97 is the extreme worst case dilution, highest end of the range for shares that are locked up. But it could happen. It's a non zero chance that it is 97% locked up. Interesting. I'd say it's somewhere lower than 97, but I don't know the numbers. The last trading day before they announced the execution of the business combination agreement was 10:48. As of they didn't put the numbers in. You forgot to put the numbers in, or they're blacked out, whited out. Dividends. I think they'll say like the other SPACs. Maybe we might do it down the road. SPAC, Pubco, and the company have not paid any cash dividends to their equity securities to date and do not intend to pay cash dividends prior to the completion of the transactions. The payment of cash dividends by Pubco in the future will be dependent upon revenues and earnings, uh, if any, capital requirements, and general financial conditions subsequent to the completion of the transactions. I don't like the earnings, if any, capital. I feel like that's not if any capital. I feel they did an extra comma for fun. Following the completion of the transactions, the Pubco board will consider whether or not to institute a dividend policy. It is presently intended that Pubco will retain its earnings for use in business operations of buying more XRP density. Accordingly, it is not anticipated the Pubco board will declare dividends in the foreseeable future unless money is easy. I mean, money becomes easy. Dividends, they will pay dividends. Ability to declare dividends may be limited to restrictive covenants Pubco may agree to do to in connection therewith. My opinion is initially no dividend. Down the road, maybe after 2030, after all the warrants are expired and gone and dilution is under control, dividends. And the yield generation machine is just off the charts. The flywheel is spinning at high speeds. Dividends. All right. That's about all I got to say. Oh, warrant will trade at a buck if it's at the strike price. So I'm wondering, is it better to? I don't know. I got a lot of questions. Like this is awesome stuff, but I got a lot of questions. But I did learn a bunch today. Hopefully, you learned a little bit too. I know I talk in circles and repeat myself, but it's because I'm figuring it out as I'm talking. This is the 80% of the research. Like you know the what are the big old floaty ice things? Titanic hit one. Glaciers. That's not right. Yeah, glaciers. So like 90% of the glaciers underwater. When people are researching and presenting, they don't show you the 90% it took them to get to that last little 10% when they hit record and it's all polished and beautiful. I want the other percent. I want to see the grinds. I want to see you go down the rabbit holes. I want to see like, oh, this I just spent 2 hours and it turned out it's a nothing burger. Dang it. That's okay. You learned something. Edison like did what? A couple hundred, 800, 900 different combinations for the light bulb. All those rabbit holes that didn't work were not failures. So this is the 80% unsexy part of research. And you're coming along the journey with me. So we're at 161.9. I think something could happen this week where this is jumping up a little, a couple hundies. Ooh, 300 yen, give or take. That's actually a small jump because we were at 18,700 yen. When it's starting to level off, like, churn sideways, everyone on X, everyone feels it. Like they're all like, "Come on, Japan, do something." Poking Japan with a stick. Like, "Come on, Japan, do something." So, oh wow, 20 more yen jump, 2%. We're looking for that really big 20 to 30% where we were, and not over time, but like instant gap up. But well, here we are at an hour. I said a lot of things. I feel like I learned a bunch of things. Evernorth is awesome. So that's it. That's all it is. Evernorth is awesome. All right, love you guys. Have a good day. I'm ordering pizza today because I'm gonna be a bad boy and eat pizza. And I mowed a bunch of lawns this morning, and I need me some calories. So that's all. Have a good day.